Follow us on Facebook at Daunta A. Long. Follow us on Instagram at Daunta Long. Follow us on YouTube at Daunta A. Long. Thank you for tuning in to Long Talk.
Good evening, and welcome to Long Talk once again. And I'm so very happy to have this opportunity to come before you once again with another meaningful dialogue of Long Talk. And Long Talk is the efficient and effective way to communicate that we choose to use to everyone. And so as we continue to have these meaningful dialogues, I am so grateful that you have taken the time to come on and log on and be a part of this meaningful dialogue. And as always, tonight I will ask you please to join us in the Long Talk experience by connecting with us. You can do so on Facebook or Instagram. Perhaps you'll do it on Twitter or YouTube. If you're on Facebook tonight, please do us one small favor. Go ahead and like and share, maybe even start a watch party, because you don't know who needs to hear this meaningful dialogue. If you're on Instagram, go ahead and follow us. And Twitter, stay tuned after tonight's dialogue. We're going to continue our conversation on Twitter and on YouTube. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you can stay connected to us each time that we are live here for Long Talk. All right. And so always, thank you so much for connecting with us. It's always a joy when we are connected with many of you that send us messages when we see you out and about. And many of you share with us. I watch you on Long Talk, and I'm always encouraged by what it is that we are discussing as we cover a wide array of topics and issues and have many guests from different walks of life. But the common thread that they all share is that in describing and ultimately dialoguing with you and I, our lives are made better, and we are having efficient and effective communication. Is that okay? All right. Well, listen, as I always say, I need you to govern yourself according to these upcoming events as we are active in our political season here in the state of Georgia. I know many of you are watching us from all over the country, but right here in the state of Georgia, we are in a hot seat because we have two Senate runoff elections that are going to be taking place. And so there are some key important dates. I'm going to put them on the screen here for you. And that is, if you are going and planning to early vote, go ahead and request your ballot now. Voter registration does take place on December the 7th. The first day that you can early vote is on December the 14th. And then keep that date in mind. Tuesday, January the 5th, we are going to be voting for those new Senate seats in the state of Georgia. So I want you to please take advantage of that. Request that absentee ballot if you need to, or if you need to participate in early voting. Remember, December the 14th is the first day that you can do so. We need everybody, and that includes you, that we need you out. If you're residing in the state of Georgia, to take part in these two historic runoff Senate elections. And again, that date is Tuesday, January the 5th. All right? Please keep that in mind. Tonight, we have a meaningful dialogue as well. Tonight, our very special guest is a dear friend of mine. She is just a tremendous person. Share a quick story with you guys. very close to a decade ago, my wife was pregnant with our first child, and things were a little complicated, to say the least. And this woman came over to my wife and I and just began to comfort us and talk to us. And she spoke into our lives and just really shared what the Lord had given to her for us. And just really, in an indescribable way, peace came over myself and my wife. And she was the very first person to do that. And I will forever be so grateful to our guest tonight because of her words of comfort, her insight as to how that pregnancy was going to play out. And just for her doing that, she holds a very special place in my heart. And believe it or not, she's not only did that for myself, she's done it for countless others. She has been a woman of prayer. But besides that, she has penned a new book geared towards helping you and I find inspiration during this time of crisis and pandemic. She has crafted this book and given us so many needful and insightful tools to help us. She's a wife. Her family is a family full of just wonderful gifts and talents, and she supports her mom, her brothers, her sisters. She just does so much. And tonight she's carved out a little time to come on and talk to us. So tonight, friends, Long Talk family and audience, please help me welcome my dear sister, Miss Charity Murphy. Good evening, Charity. How are you tonight?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
What a great joy it is to have you sharing with us on this wonderful Thursday evening. How are things going for you?
It's going wonderful. I'm glad to be here. We're
Great.
glad to be alive.
Thank you so much for taking time to come out and talk to us. Charity, boy, you are blazing social media right now because you have a new release out and people are talking about it. I know you've got a book signing coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that a little later. But just quickly tell everybody about who you are, because many know you, but there's still a vast audience of persons that may not know exactly who Charity Murphy is. But please take just a moment and go ahead and share with our audience exactly who you are and what's going on with you these days.
Well, once again, I'm Charity Murphy. I'm, first of all, a child of God. Glad to be a child of God. I am a wife of a great man in my life, April Murphy. I am a daughter to wonderful parents, Elder Luther Beckett and Pastor Catherine Beckett in ministry. I'm a sister. I'm an auntie. I'm a sister friend. I'm a life coach. I wear so many hats, but the most important hat of it all is being a child of God.
Sure. So, as I said earlier, there's a lot of people out here talking about this new release that you have penned. I will first of all want to ask you about it. Tell us a little bit about this book that you've written.
Awesome. I want to first say that I don't know about a lot of different develop of what authors go through, but for this being my very first book, it was not easy for me to get it out. I struggled 4 years to get a devotional book. Now, a lot of people say, now, how did you do that? And it's the devotional book, but it was God taking me through the process.
Sure.
He took me through the pain. He took me through the grief with people close to me. Being able to be a counselor or ear for them. God took me through that.
Sure.
This book developed me for 4 years. He woke me up at 4:30 to 5 o'clock every morning. And believe it or not, it started as a text message. And I would send over 300 to 400 text message a day.
Okay.
So I would start my text message at 6 in the morning, and it would end between 9:30 and 10 o'clock the next morning. And during that time, with the 4 years, and I'm answering your question, I hope I'm not.
Sure, take your time. Take your time.
God was developing me, and he was telling me, I've always said I wanted to write a book, but never thought that it would happen.
Mm.
And so for 4 years, I was disobedient, um, until one day God said, "Your book is completed."
Mm.
And I said, "God, what do you mean my book is completed? I ain't did nothing." And he took me in my office and told me to look on the shelves, and I had over 9 notebooks of word that he woke me up 4 o'clock in the morning, prophetic words. He spoke to me, um, the things that I endured, and how did I go through rejection and, um, being denied different things. And he spoke that to me, and he told me he wanted me to share with his people. My purpose is to motivate, to encourage, and to inspire all people.
Mm.
And
Mm.
so the process of it, of being able to be a willing vessel for it, took time, but I'm so glad it's finally here.
Wow. Wow. And we are so happy that the book is here. Listen, tell everybody that may not know, what is the title of this book?
The title of this book is Charity Love Thoughts, Spread the Love. And the title came because at first I had Spread the Love,
Mm-hmm.
and it put me to the scripture where it say the last shall be the first and the first shall be the last.
Sure.
And I said, well, Lord, I just can't have spread the love. And God said he wanted me to mention love all through the books. Charity means love. So there's love mentioned 3 times within the book.
Wow.
God wants to bring compassion back to his people.
Yeah.
We have lost compassion. We have lost love for one another. The world, the society that we live in is so hateful, and so, we discriminate with different things, and all the Black Lives Matter and all the different things that we go through. Even black on black crime, just this world is full of just so much hate. And God said he wanted to return the love back to the people.
Yeah.
It took love to Jesus to go on the cross and die for you. It took love for him to do all the things he done for you. So he wanted me to spread the love and to continue to spread it, and to know that this book is going to be here even when I'm gone, and my nieces and my nephew, and God's willing, if he prepared for me children, that this will be something that's been placed in the ground. Is so amazing to me,
Mm.
because it's going to always be spreaded.
Wow.
And that's the part that I love.
Wow. Wow. So I know in this book, you do a lot about talking about balance. And I know that you talk about balance in the sense of balance can only be achieved through the grace of God. That while we struggle to try to balance our lives the best that we can, you say that true balance comes through an act of grace. Talk to me about that a little bit, if you will.
For we already know that his grace is sufficient, and it's made perfect in weakness.
Mm.
And to be able to have balance is hard, especially in the time that we live in,
Yeah.
where we're dealing with homeschool, we're dealing with, people that have lost their job, people
Yeah.
who have to go to work. Me and my husband, we are, also essential workers, so we have to go to work.
Okay.
And to deal with this, and I'm horrible with time management. I'm so horrible. Pray for me. But to deal with all this stuff, it takes grace.
Sure.
It takes grace. It takes mercy, and it takes that ability to know that it's going to be all right. You can't be good at everything, and I'm learning that it's okay, because I used to put myself in competition with so many things, and I failed at everything. And then the
Mm.
Holy Spirit had to sit me down and tell me, if you could just complete one thing and be good at one thing, I will make room for multiple things to happen for you.
Sure.
But because the grace is sufficient, I believe in that particular case, what Paul was basically going through so much, but it took grace to humble him. It took grace to go through that. It takes grace to carry this thing. And a lot of times people look at your life and they say, oh, this life, oh, she, this, or he's that. But they don't know it took grace for me to get here. They didn't see me cry at night. They didn't see me when I was going through the problem, when I wanted to go in the bathroom and just kill myself because of what the enemy spoke in my mind and what he told me what I wasn't. Even though, you feel like loneliness. This is what we're living in now, what we're going through now. It's so many people, and especially for the single people. There's a prayer that needs to be prayed for the single ladies. I speak, women, it touch my heart. And grace, it takes grace. It takes grace to sustain you. It takes grace to keep you. Oh, what would we be without grace and mercy? I don't know.
So this balancing act that you say is dependent upon grace really defines how you and I really live our lives, basically. And grace, you talk about a strong need for grace for those women who are single currently that you feel upon your heart. Grace for children that are being homeschooled. We hear a lot, Charity, about children who just do not appreciate this virtual experience of not even logging on to the computers and participating.
The frustration of it.
Yeah, just frustration, angry, not being able to be in a classroom setting with their, with their peers. And Charity, we lifted this up on the show several months ago. We're seeing a lot of domestic violence right now in relationships with married individuals. I really want to ask you about this grace in the sense of understanding. Grace is so perplexed, right? I know we say grace is easy, but the same grace that is on your life for your situation, that's not necessarily the same grace that I need for my situation, right?
Correct. Grace worked different ways. It was, I had God to show me, I'm a different type of prayer. And I wanted God to show me what grace and mercy meant. I'm a teacher that go by vision.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way that God described grace to me was one particular time I was at the gas station. And it was so cold. And anybody know me, I wear gloves. I mean, if I don't have no gloves, I'm kind of like in a fit. I can't stand for my nose to be cold or anything. So
sure.
This particular morning, a homeless man walked into my car, and of course, you know what they want. But this homeless man actually walked to my car and stated, "Ma'am, I just want to, go and pay for your gas." Now, of course, they got to take some God in you to know this. But I heard the Holy Spirit say, yes, give him the $10. I was going to put 20, but God wanted me to test him and say, give him the $10. Tell him that you're in pump 10. Now, remind you, the day we live in, I will never encourage this. This is my testimony, not yours. So don't you go do what the Lord had gave me discernment. The guy proceeded, because he seen me in a state of being cold. He seen me in a state of not wanting to get out the car. He proceeded to go to pump my gas. He proceeded to not require any money from me. Now, of course, I'm looking around because sex trafficking, we're just being real. Mm-hmm. Sex trafficking is out. So much stuff is going on as a female. And I could hear my auntie. I have an auntie that is very precautious of everything. Don't leave your purse on the seat. And in the back of my head, I can hear her voice, but at the same time, I hear God's voice too. God was showing me that grace was, he'll keep you in perfect peace. And he'll have someone to go do something that you don't even feel like it, don't want to do. He'll have them to do it for you. Grace covers you. I felt so warm in my car. I didn't want to get out. And he pumped my gas, and believe it or not, he actually walked away. And I kept trying to look for him. I honestly do believe in angels, but I really wanted to try to look back for him, and I could not find him. And that's when God said, that's when I'm sufficient. You don't see me, but you feel me. You know me. You know that I work in the mystery. I don't need no hand clap. I don't need no prayer. He didn't want any of that. He just wanted to help me. In the world that we live in now, that's unheard of now, because that happened a couple of years ago. I might have been a little wiser then. I don't think I would have changed, because once again, I heard the Lord's voice. Thank God for discernment. But what I can say was God showed me that grace covered you, that grace keep you, that grace guides you, and it keeps you out of harm's way. Grace covers you and keep you. Grace for different people is for different levels, like you say. But for me, it's putting me not in positions where I can't do it, but he can. Or he can send someone who can do it for you. Grace put me in a position of knowing that because I've had a bad day, don't mean I could keep having bad days.
Sure.
Don't mean that I could keep on, because it's going to sustain me. It's sufficient. It's going to keep me going. Without grace and without mercy. The mercy was, this man took it out of his heart with holes in his socks. And I saw his shoes. I saw the jacket he had on. I saw this man took it out of his heart to help me. Maybe because I'm beautiful, because a lot of people will say, well, you're gorgeous, you're good. But I take it as that was grace that God was showing me, that in spite of everything you go through, in spite of everything, I'm going to cover you. I'm going to protect you. No hurt, harm, and danger coming to you. I'm going to show you that I love you. And you don't have to do nothing to pay me back. I don't want nothing. Like I stated, I turned around trying to look for the man. The man was gone. I went to the gas station just to see them. To this day, I still haven't seen them.
Wow. Charity, what an incredible story. Incredible how the Lord illustrated for you how grace applies to you, brings you out of your comfort zone, but brings no hurt, no harm, no danger. Does for you what you do not wish to do for yourself or cannot do for yourself, and multiplies the effect of not holding you responsible. In this case, not charging you for what happened. My goodness. Charity, in this book, here again, Charity, Love and Thoughts. I love this part in the devotion when you talk about, boy, here it is, making sure that we finish what we have started. Making sure that we finish what we have started. And if I can be transparent, that is what my mother, I know she's watching, Mom, trust me, go back and finish what you started. And you said that this is something that we talk about early in the morning in our devotion, making sure that we finish what we started. Talk to us about that, if you will.
We have a habit, I'm in a process even now, of healthy life, healthy living. I don't want to say how much I have lost, but I want to say that I hope it continues. But we get complex when we get to the place where we see things happening for us. And I'm going to take my own experience, because like I say, that's how God deals with me. We eat healthy. We get into this vegan thing. I've never been vegan. I feel like I'm going that way, but just not yet. We get into drinking our water. We get into doing our diet,
Yeah.
and we're seeing the results and seeing the pants and the inches, and our finger is getting smaller, our rings are getting bigger. We see this thing, we see this, and we get happy and we get complex.
Yeah.
And then we slowly go to that ice cream. We slowly go to those chips. We go to that restaurant. And what we're doing is we're not finishing what we started. It's so hard nowadays, even with us being isolated in this COVID-19
Yeah.
and trying to finish something.
Finish.
It's hard. The devil don't want to see you complete nothing. That's why he brings distractions to keep you out of finish what you got to start, what you've done started. He keep your mind on those children. Oh, they being bad. So he make the kids act up. Get the husband to act up. Get the wife to act up. Your job is acting up because he don't want you to finish that play. He don't want you to finish that book. He don't want you to finish that weight loss. So he brings things to get you distracted and get your mind off focus. But what I have learned is if you stand the test and finish the race, this race, as I stated, even though it's a book, and a lot of people had said a little smart comments, and we're not going to go there, but I finished my race. This book is just the beginning. I got 2 more on the way that I'm working on now. I'm going to finish. We have to stay focused and understand that just because you started a little slow, it don't matter how, my mom used to say this all the time. It don't matter how you start. It's how you finish. It's how you complete it. So we must complete. We can't put the kids in bed at 8 and then turn around and said, okay, well, they can go to bed at 10. We must complete the task that's given before us to give them the balance that they need. We have to finish what we start.
And you snuck it in there again. We're going to need grace to finish what we started. Oh, goodness. Charity, we're going to take a quick commercial break. After the break, I want to talk to you a little bit more about some things that you said in this book. So give us just a few seconds, about 1 minute or so. Going to take this quick break and we'll be right back.
I want to talk to you about the stakes in this election as plainly as I can. If we're going to get this virus under control, get folks back to work, and make sure affordable health care is available for everybody, we've got to send people to Washington who aren't interested in playing political games or making themselves rich. We've got to elect folks who will get to work for people like you. That's why I'm supporting Reverend Raphael Warnock in the special election for Senate. Reverend Warnock's someone I've known for years. He's a man of great moral integrity, a leader in the truest sense of the word. He's spent his life pushing for justice, fighting to expand healthcare, protecting voting rights and the dignity of work. You don't find a lot of people in Washington like Reverend Warnock, and that's exactly why we got to get him there. Please join me in supporting Raphael Warnock for Senate.
I'm Raphael Warnock, and I know we can do better. That's why I approve this message.
We're back here on Long Talk this evening with our special guest, Miss Charity Murphy, talking to us about her new book, Charity Love Thoughts. This devotional that has just really been revolutionizing many of us who have read it and who are reading it, and talking about meaningful dialogue that we can apply to our lives. And this focus, Charity, that you talked about earlier, comes early in the morning. Early in the morning. Many say that the clearest thoughts that we think happen early in the morning. And my dad used to say that the early bird catches the worm, which was simply to denote that there is significance in this devotion. And you said that this devotion was birthed out of 4 years of early morning thoughts and early morning meditations. And I want to talk to you lastly about one of these meditations that you talk about when you say, don't put off tomorrow for what must be completed today. Talk to us, Charity. What do you mean by that? Don't put off tomorrow what must be completed today.
Daunta, you had the honor of meeting my grandmother, Beatrice Norris.
Yep.
And
Wonderful
one
woman
thing
of
about
God. Wonderful
my
woman of
grandmother,
God.
wonderful. A lot of my roots come from her. And one of the things my grandmother used to instill in me is, I used to say, well, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to get it tomorrow. She said, why, you got your health and strength, get it today. Do it today. Do it while you're alive. She used to always tell me that if someone is on your heart, someone come across your mind, to either go see them or call them. And I have learned with being, I was a little bit of her giver, a little bit, and also my father-in-law. And one thing I have learned from the both of them, I was able to assist with them on their last days. And every moment, just being able to be grateful and to be able to cherish the moment. I think of mostly when I think of putting it off for tomorrow, because I hear so many testimonies and so many stories about how many people have said, wow, I was just thinking about them. And then they get the call that they passed. I share another personal story with you if you don't mind.
Sure.
Oh. Ooh. Okay. There was a lady that went to seed planters, and her name was Sister Pittman.
Yeah.
She was a wonderful, wonderful role model to me growing up. This particular Sunday, and this is once, I tell you all the time, God always take me through personal situations so I could, that's how I relate or transparent, I don't know. But this particular situation, my mama had been traveling with her up and down the road, weeks after weeks after weeks. And I was going to a particular church at the time. And this particular Sunday, the Lord spoke to me to go to be with my mama at seed planters. Mm-hmm. He spoke to me and told me plain as day, go be with your mom. Your mom has to preach. Go. And at that time, I was saying, well, I've been with mom all this many weeks. I gotta go to my church. And that week, I got the call that she had passed. That was the most heartbreaking thing for me, only because I heard the voice of God tell me, don't put it off. Go, go, go. And he kept telling me, go, go, go. Not knowing that was going to be my encounter of the last time that I would see her. And so when I think about that, it's more, for me, life or death situation. When someone...
oh my God, you said that putting off for tomorrow many times is a matter of life and death. Goodness.
I honestly, in my situation, feel that way. That was my experience that has still to this day is tender, because her daughter, Tiffany, great, just all of them took me in. That was the classiest woman that I saw. You know, Sister Pittman. She had her hair done, her nails done. She was dressy. And I mean, the voice, the high pitched voice, just the elegant lady. But the thing about it, for that to happen, all because out of my selfishness, putting it off. I always come visit. But because putting it off. She always gave the great advice. So that's my personal experience about don't put off anymore, because it is life and death. It might not be like, and it don't have to be a person. It could be a dream. It could be a goal. It could be a vision.
Ooh. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Charity, this book is just drenched. I was going to say laced, but it is drenched with all of these devotions, with devotional information to really help us on a day-to-day basis. Charity, why do you feel as though we need to have this as an everyday approach?
Number one, it was to bring love back into the world. It was to bring compassion back to God's people. Have you ever been in a situation where you said, God's not hearing me? I don't understand why he's not hearing me. I don't understand why he's not hitting me. I'm praying and I'm asking him, what about this day? I am yet to receive phone calls, text messages, and emails about how they said I had the closest email that I got, and it touched my heart so dearly. She said, Charity, you just don't know I was going through a divorce. And she don't mind me sharing her testimony because I can't wait for her to tell her testimony herself. She's ready now, so I don't mind. And she said, Charity, I read the book where it say, new day, new mercy, new grace. Get up, dust yourself off. This is an emotional boost. It's going to push you. It's going to encourage you. It's going to motivate you to get out of that emotion. We're dealing with emotional pain right now. We're dealing with so much anger, hate. It's time for love and compassion to be put back in this world.
Yeah.
People have lost, and God has spoke this to me. People have lost love. They say, I love you. They say they care. But where is the feeling? Where is the love? So this book is dipped in God's love. It's dipped in how much he loved his people. It's dipped. I honestly can say that I stripped myself from this, and God took the words, and that's the reason why God, because at first the book was going to be something with God. I wanted to include in God, but God said he wanted to include me. God said, I want to put you first. And sometimes we feel like we're not worthy. But don't you know God said that you're worthy? That you're worth it?
Yeah.
That you're not a failure? That you're not you're more than what you are just because that teacher or that parent or that administrator or that boss have told you what you are not? Don't you know how much God loves you? So God was saying, I want your name in there. I want your thoughts. And so this book is collaborated by me and God. God gave me the scriptures, and I came up with the thoughts.
I love it. I love it. Charity, today I wanted to tell our audience to go out and pick up a copy of this book, and they can do so by going to Amazon and just type it in Charity Murphy. And so I want to say to everybody who's watching tonight, and those that will watch on the rebroadcast, please go to Amazon or stop by Charity's personal page. Many of you can find her at Charity, at Abram, Abram Murphy. Find her at Abram Murphy, and either direct message her or go to Amazon. As we said earlier, go to Amazon and pick up a copy of this book, Charity Love Thoughts, as I know this devotion is unlike any other. I said in our intro, the way that God has used you and You have moved in prayer and in speaking words of comfort, even, as I said, into our lives, my family's life, my wife's life. And just watching that which was complex and that which was just so touch and go there for a while. And when you spoke the word of the Lord and how it brought peace, and it was a simple word to this day. I don't know what you said. I've never asked my wife, but when she told me, she said, Charity came and spoke to me and everything is well. And I will never forget that. That was nearly 10 years ago. And I'm just grateful that now, not only are you just customizing it to each person, you've put it out here now for everybody. These charity love thoughts that can speak inspiration and speak comfort and speak encouragement. And so I'm encouraging everybody, go to Amazon or go to our charity's page, which is again, Abram Murphy on Facebook, and pick up a copy of this book.
Or you could even, and we're going to be COVID-19 free this Saturday.
Yeah, talk about Saturday, if you will. Talk about this Saturday.
This Saturday is going to be phenomenal. This Saturday, God is going to have his way. I have totally surrendered to God to do whatever he want to do. I will be giving out all my personal oil that God has dealt with me with emotional, dealing with emotional healing. Also healing for the mind. You know, and also by his stripe, Isaiah 53 tell us, by his stripe we are healed. It's amazing. God gave me this oil healing. He told me to make nothing but healing oil before all this corona happened. So come out and be with me. I would love to meet you. We're going to be COVID-19 free. We're going to make sure that we do all the proper things that we need to do. I would love for you to stop by, and you can meet me personally, and I could sign your book.
So Charity, exactly where and what time?
It's going to be located at Stockbridge, and the flyer is located on my page because I don't know the address by heart.
Sure.
But we will be at located Stockbridge, the Marriott, Fairfield Marriott. That is next to the McDonald's and across the street from At Home on 138 in Stockbridge, Georgia.
Perfect. So asking everybody, please, Saturday, if you're in the greater Atlanta area, you want to get a copy of this book. She and her staff are going to be at that Fairfield Marriott in Stockbridge, Georgia. And they're going to be social distancing. So there'll be a few in at a time and a few out. And but you want to meet Charity, pick up that vial of oil that she's been praying over and that she has really just been saturating God's presence over, I believe. If I know you, Charity, I know you spend hours of prayer, you and your mother and your entire family. And I'm just grateful that you'll be doing that this Saturday. All right?
Yes.
Again, Charity,
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much
and
for taking the time.
And I pray much success for your show.
Thank you.
You have not seen anything yet. The best is yet to come. Your hard work is not in vain. The tears and sweat, the things that you have put in. And I even hear donations are coming your way. Because you have done so much for the people of God. And you bring great live dialogue. And God honors that. And we need that. So we thank you for doing what you do. But I see you going higher and greater.
Thank you, Charity. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you so much. You take care.
You do the same.
All right. God bless. Friends, we are just delighted to have had another long talk on this evening to share with you, to talk about inspiration. Listen, as our guest said tonight, there is so much that is transpiring with COVID-19, with economic downturns, with family, domestic situations, just an array of things that are happening. And to be quite candid with you, we all need a little inspiration from time to time. And so this is why here on Lone Talk, we're going to do our very best to give you information, to give you critical thoughts, to think on, to have upfront in your face type dialogue sometimes, But then there are many times where we just need good information on inspiration, just to really soothe the soul and to provide comfort and to provide just meaningful nourishment that we all need in this trying time. I want to let you know everything's going to be all right. Finish what you started. Whatever you birth out, whatever you've gone through, you've endured. I know it's been rough, it's been tough. Guess what? All of us have faced these type of challenges. But you have to just remain constant. You have to always do your very best to hang in there. And as our guest said tonight, you got to finish it. And God's going to give you grace to balance it. I know you've got a lot. Listen, I know you're there at the job. You're a small business owner. You're in school. Some of you are in school and working, and you're trying to just juggle and balance it out. Some of you are at home working, and you got kids there doing virtual schooling. You're trying to balance both your professional life and your children. And then you just got a lot going on. I get it. But this is why we need inspiration, to let you know everything's going to be all right. Look, we've been doing this for a while now. You're starting to get the hang of it. Hey, listen, you've already got one semester under your belt. You've already got half the credits. Listen, you've had that business off the ground now for over 2 years. You're going to make it. Right now, you just got to remain constant. While everything is up and down, you remain constant. And trust me, those familiar words I say time and time again, everything's going to be okay. All right? We love you. Enjoy this weekend. Get out and enjoy. And then we'll be back next Tuesday for more meaningful dialogue here on Long Talk. We appreciate you all and thank you so much for watching. God bless.
Follow us on Facebook at Daunta A. Long. Follow us on Instagram at Daunta Long. Follow us on YouTube at Daunta A. Long. Thank you for tuning in to Long Talk.